Hello everybody, this is Jacob from Wedge Me This, and in this video we're going to expand a little on yesterday's video where I was talking about, playing bigger matters. How much money is enough money for you to stop playing for the day, or to leave, or to take your money out of the casino? Because if you have your money in the casino, no matter if it's profit or not, until you leave, the casino hasn't lost yet, because you're walking by all that gambling stuff. You could stick your money here, stick your money there, go back to the craps table, whatever the case is. Until you've left and until you've turned that money into something, you still haven't won. Um, and so the whole building a bankroll and all that, that's all fine and nice and everything. But if you never make it into something real, I call it making it real. You never make it into something real, and you're always just bringing it back to the casino, then you never actually have won. So with all that thought process, what your strategy that you're using, how does it win the goal you're looking for? So let's take it off of percentages and let's put it on the money. All right. So let's say you have a $1,000 bankroll. All right. Let's do that. That's 600, $1,000 bankroll. Out of this $1,000, what is your goal? 20% would be $200. So is your goal $200? If your goal is $200, how do you optimize your $1,000 bankroll to win $200? Now, there's a couple ways to do it. You could just be super aggressive and try to get it early. But let's be honest, that's not what people want to do. People want to play craps. They want to enjoy craps. They want to be at the table for an extended period of time with craps. Play it that way. So now you get into the side of it where, how do you satisfy both things? How do you satisfy the urge to want to play the game and interact and be a part of the game? Because craps is an amazing, fun game to play, especially with other people there and excitement, right? But how do you also balance that with giving yourself a good chance to win your profit goal, where you want to go? All right. So let's say $200, $250. Let's push it a little and say we want to win $250. That's a 25% profit. All right. So at this point, we want to have fun. We want to stay at the table for a little while. We don't want to just go there and one shooter be done. So how do you manage this? Okay. Well, I know a few ways. I'm going to talk about one mainly in this video. There, another one might come up as we're going, multiple of them, but there's one main way I think you can do it. And that is, as you're playing and you win, you use your strategy to get ahead, you only play back the profits. All right. So this is what I mean by that. All right. So let's say we have $1,000 and we're going to play 10 shooters of 96 across. All right. Let's just make it simple. All right. We'll play a pass line for $15. We're going to play 10 shooters for 96 across. In this case, you really want to be 3 hits and down type plays, stuff like that. You don't want to just set it and forget it, because you're going to be at the mercy of the 7 too often. So what I suggest is what you do is you go and you say, okay, I'm going to play 96 across. I'm going to take 3 hits, and then I'm going to just play 2 bets, right? Just use the profit. All right. So use your strategy. Your 3 hits is your strategy. And then we're going to play with profit. And this is going to allow you to stay at the table. So we'll go from 96 across down to 36, 6, and 8. Well, not 36, 6, and 8, but 18 on each one. All right. So let's play it out and see what happens. And there's a hard 4 to start us out. Pretty good little roll there. We'll take it. All right. We'll go 96. All right. So now we're essentially $100 invested. We don't have no odds on our 4. That'd be up to you. My suggestion is, if you do want odds on the 4, get a hit, use it for odds. So we'll need 4 hits if we're going to do that. We're going to play it that way. We're going to get our first hit and then use it for odds. And there's the 7. So we are not going to do that. All right. Because we're going to play this, I'm going to just drop $100 here. Get 4 change. Reset us up there. The box numbers will be off, and we're just working the come out. All right, so that's the cost of doing business, guys. That's just how strategy works. Sometimes it doesn't work. PSO is going to always burn the light side. All right, so we're right back on the 4. All our bets are working again. And there's an 8, okay? Perfect. We'll win 21. We're going to put the 20 in odds. I guess you could put the whole 21 in odds. Maybe you put the dealer on, something like that. All right, so that's 1 win. Now we're looking for 3 wins, and then we'll go down. And you don't have to take this down, right? So that's going to still be up, but you want 3 wins because you're going to win at least $60, right? It's going to give you the chance to play. We'll call it for free or on the casino. It's going to satisfy your other urge of wanting to stay at the table for a while. $21 win on that 5. All right, here we go. 1 win. And there's the 9. Perfect. Another $21. That's going to be win number 2. Now you could count it as win number 3 because you did win here, and you do have $40 in profit. You could go down to your 36 here. But let's go for 3 wins, and let's make our odds completely separate. And there's the 8. Perfect. $21. So now you've won $63, not counting the odds on the 4. And we're going to take these down. So now what you've got is you got 36 versus, well, 36, you know, whatever you want to call that, 51, 50 or whatever in risk off of your bankroll. This is a profit play. The odds are, and you've made 63. So you're profitable on this shooter. Well, yeah, on this shooter, right? We had a PSO and then this shooter. So now what we'll do is, because we're playing with profit, we can do anything we want with these wins. We don't have to rack them. And this allows you to satisfy the urge of staying at the table for a while. Now, the part about satisfying making your money is what you do from here. Hopefully you get a couple hits. You could take it and change your strategy up and go through the don't. There's a lot of ways to do it. There's a hard 4. That's perfect. That's our best case scenario. All right, so we're going to win 15 flat and then 40 on the odds. 20 plays 40, 15 flat. Perfect, man. Look at us go. And then we can pick up some of these other numbers, right? All of them. We're going to be able to get all of them because that was such a good win. So, and obviously we can switch one out for odds whenever we get a new point. But now, because we hit that, we're in a good spot, right? What we have is, we just won 15 and 40 plus this 20, remember? So that was a pretty good little win altogether. Now we're on a come out. We can keep playing. We're getting to enjoy the game, and we're hopefully making some profit. And this is the idea behind, there's a 4 right back on the 4. Perfect. Put this down in odds. You could collect that, whatever you want to do with it, but put it in odds, I suggest, because this is essentially a free play here. Now, now you're trying to make your 250, right? So let's just look where we're at. 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 825, say 900. So we're up, what, $15, $20, something like that. Not bad after being down 100, right? So let's see what we get. And we got the 8, very nice. 6 deuce 8. It's going to win 21. I suggest pressing 2 numbers. So let's press our 6 and our 5. Collect some money, right? You want to collect too at this point. Now you're trying to make your money, right? You've done the stuff to have fun at the table. Now you're trying to collect the money, right? There's a 5 that's going to win $28. Take our 9 up to a quarter, press our 10 to 20. We're going to rack 13 bucks. Pretty good. And the 6, that was a terrible roll. We're not going to count it. It didn't even get anywhere near the wall. There we go, much better. And we got a 6 either way. Different kind of 6, but still the same. $28 win. Take our 8 to 30. Let's add an odds right there. We're racking about 11 bucks. All right, pretty good little run here. And there's the 5, all right. So it's gonna win 28 as well. Let's drop 2 for 30. 6 to 30. 5 to a quarter. We're gonna rack up $19. And at any point here, you're like, okay, I'm gonna regress back down. All right, remember, you are trying to make money. So that's not a terrible idea here. Or we'll say, you know what, we're gonna regress them all except for the 6 and 8. I like this play too. All right, regress them all except for the 6 and 8. Collect your quarterback. Still got all the numbers, but your 6 and 8's a little stronger. Still got your odds here, looking good. But that way you're racking your money. So let's look at where we're at. 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 850, 900. So there's 900 right there. Plus what, that's 50, 60, 70. So you're up probably $80, something like that, maybe $100 at this point. You know, you're starting to get into where you're profiting some. But if you lose these out here, you know, you're not. And that's what we just did. All right, so we did regress and got some of our money off the table, but that was a pretty good little run, right? Again, it ended up where we just made the 100 we lost initially on the PSO back, but we had the chance to leave up 50, 60, $70 in that shooter if we wanted. And so this is what I'm talking about accomplishing both things that craps players want to do. They don't want to go there and just win and leave. If that was the case, then you should probably just go there, play the don't, see if you win, then go, if that's the case. But it's not. Like, craps players want to hang out, right? Let's trade this in. $20. We had 3 left. All right. Let's see, we're at 1, 2. So we're actually up a couple dollars, like $8 or something like that. Not bad. We could have been up, you know, 150, whatever it would have been. But this is what I'm getting at, is that this is the idea. I know players don't want to just go for 1 or 2 shooters or 3 shooters. They want to play a lot of shooters. They want to play the game, but they also want to win. So these are things that, you know, you got to keep track of in your strategy. You know, what are you doing to allow yourself to win, and what are you doing to allow yourself to stick around a little bit? So that's why I think playing with profit matters. All right, so let's do it a little different. Let's do it a little more aggressive version. We're going to do a 110 inside version of this. No line bet. This is a common way people play. At a $10 table, they'll go like 110 inside for 2 hits and then go 64 across. This is a very common way to play. All right, let's try it. Box numbers are off. We got the old 4 ski. And 6. Okay, so there's one hit, $35. We'll collect it. We're looking for 2 hits, which will win 70, and then we'll go 64 across. We did not get 2 hits. That was a no-go. All right, we got to drop 110 again. Try it again. 12, okay. Give me 12. 3, 12 and a 3. Horn parlay working. And then the 7 knocked it. Still waiting to have a point. Yeah, still waiting to have a point. There's aces. And the 9. There we go. Took a minute. All right, we're looking for 2 hits, and we'll go to 64. Could go to 66 inside as well. Ouch. Another ugly number. Let's drop $110. It looks like we're never going to get to play this one. That was like a 7 roller or whatever that didn't win. That's brutal. There's a 4 on a weird long bounce. But this is the idea of this kind of light side play can just get whacked like this. This isn't really anything I'm showing in the video. This is just a bad run of dice for light side play. And there's a 6. And this happens, guys. You're going to have bad runs of dice. All right, $35 win. And aces, okay. And a 5, okay. $35 win. All right, so we won 70. Now we're going to go to 64 across, which is a $10 table minimum or $10 table level. But there are people that play at $10 tables. But it's all paid for because you won 70. Let's get some white chips. You won 70 and you're playing 64. So now you did your work, right, with the strategy. That's your hang out at the table part of it. Now you're taking and you're going to try to win. So now whatever style you use to win here from the 64 is it just collect, which is fine at this level. Or are you going to press some? Personally, me, what I would do at this level is I would probably just pick 2 numbers and just press them up with every hit. So like the 6 and 8 or 4 and 10 or whatever you want to do. That's what I would do. So we'll just choose the 6 and 8 here and we'll just press every time to them. And if they win, we'll collect it. And there's back-to-back 11s. And a 9, okay. It's going to win $14. And this is why you get to press both of them. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for 6s and 8s as our collectors. And we'll use the other ones to press. And there's a 3. And now, guys, this is just me just going with something. You play this however you choose. Whatever. I'm just explaining the mechanics behind doing stuff to stay at the table, but also profit. All right, there's $10. 10. You're going to win $18. We'll drop 2 for 20. We'll press our 6 and 8 again. So now we need to hit some 6s and 8s, right? We're going to full collect on all the 6 and 8 hits. So it'd be nice to hit a few. And there's a 6. That's what I'm talking about. So it's going to win 28. So now we're in our collection. See if we can get a few of those in, right? And we got 1, okay. Not terrible. So we got to see that. Got beat up a little on some PSOs, but that has nothing to do with what we're doing. That's just the nature of the game. All right, so now let's go to the next level of this. And so this is where what I was talking about playing bigger is going to start mattering, and you guys are going to see it here. And we're still using the same concept of get some wins in to satisfy our urge to be at the table, followed by let's make profit. All right, so we have 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800. We're barely down. We're down 150 bucks. But this time, what we're going to do is we're going to play 320 across. All right, so let's do our 320 across. And since we're only looking for a $250 profit goal, when we go 3 hits and down on this, it's going to make $210. And this is why I'm saying that playing bigger matters. Now, this doesn't necessarily coincide with staying at the table a long time, but that's a bankroll issue too as well. But so here we go. This you'll see, because even though we're playing the exact same thing on these other ones where we're just looking for 3 hits, this one is going to operate so much smoother because it's such a bigger win per hit. And that's what I was trying to explain before in the other video, is that it almost, your win per hit actually matters way more than 3 hits and down or anything. Because if you were just playing for 1 hit, but you had $5,000 out there to where if you hit anything, you're going to win $1,000, that's going to be a pretty easy thing to accomplish a lot of the times, right? At least 84% of the time. All right, here we go, coming out. And we got the 10. So again, we're looking for 3 hits and down here, minimum of a win, minimum of $210 if we get our hits. And we did not. What is up with these PSOs? I swear, guys, when you make videos, it will directly go against you no matter what you're trying to do. 320. If I'd have been on the other side and playing don't all the time, it would have been come out loser after come out loser. It's just odd how it does that. All right, coming out, another 7. Nothing to do with us. And a 4, okay. And again, guys, the strategy that I'm employing here really has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. And that's the thing. It's hard for people to understand that sometimes. Whatever strategy you're using, you just need your hit count. Whatever you need hits wise to make the profit money that you're satisfied with, is you got to keep it very low. And also, you got to factor in that you're not going to want to leave when you do win. So you got to factor all that in. There's $70 win, and that's what we're talking about today. That's what we're working on today. So what is it? What point do you got to be at? I've just been showing it with some light side stuff. And there's a hard 4. All right, so we're going to drop $2 for 100. Not bad. So we've already won 170 at this point. $170 on this shooter. All right, box numbers are going to be off in 2 hits compared to the 30 hits we won the same amount earlier. And there's a 6. All right, we're looking for 1 hit, and then you'd be going down maybe because we'll be over, 160. Maybe you regress down to 160. You don't take it all off the board, but you make sure you're profitable. And there's the 6 right back. Perfect time to do this. All right, so we made 170 and 70. So that's $240 wins on this run. So if we took it all down to 160, we're still getting our action in. We're still on the table. We're made some profit, and we have a chance to really do some good here, right? Win all of our money back, maybe. Whatever the case may be, we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 50 in the rack, 600 in the rack. We're not doing bad. All right, here we go. Come out 6. All right, so now, because we won $240, this 160 is free and clear. We can do whatever we want with it and lose it. Oh, what is up with these 7s? They're just coming so quick. Brutal. All right, so you guys got an idea of what I'm talking about there. So now let's take it just real quick before we end the video here. Let's take it all the way up. We're kind of like the levels we were playing yesterday. So this is where having enough money to play craps matters, and I'm going to show it. All right, same kind of thing. You're trying to win. I don't know. We'll make an arbitrary number, $1,000, right? With the same 3 hits and down. So what does it take to win $1,000 with 3 hits and down? All right. Well, if you put $100 out there, your biggest win is 200. All right. So you really got to put over 100. So let's say you have a $5,000 bankroll, and you go 200 on every number. And let's put our caps on the 6 and 8, make them 240. This is just like playing 320 when you have 1,000, right? But so you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, $1,200, 1,280 out there. Roughly 5 tries at this, 4 tries at this at $5,000 bankroll. But if you're thinking about it, if you're just trying to win $1,000, if you hit the 4 or 10, that's $400 win. These ones right here, they're gonna pay 280, almost 300. So 3 hits, you're almost there, no matter what happens. See, it's the same concept, it's the same play, but the value of each hit is so much larger that you're going to be satisfied quicker. Now, the risk is almost so much larger, but not comparative to your bankroll. If you have the right size bankroll to play this, that's why I'm saying is go to the craps table with more money, not less money, because if you're still keeping the same mindset that you need to win 500 or more dollars, then if you're only going with 200 to win 500, it's a lot harder than going with 5,000 to win 100 or 500 to win 100. And that's the idea behind it. Now, let's see what happens here. Let's see if we can win $1,000. See if we can get to 4 hits. 4 hits will get us there probably. That was an 11. See if the dice will cooperate. And you could do a thing like one hit and down. Any one hit here, if you think about it, any one hit, you're going to go 320. You can go to 320 for pretty cheap or nothing. Any one hit, you can go to 160 and have a huge profit. So this is the idea behind what I'm explaining, is that it's not always about uh, some crazy strategy that works perfect every time. Sometimes it's just about what you're satisfied with. All right, let's win 280 on that 9 win. All right, we'll put it right there. And there's an 8, pretty good. We'll win another 280. And a 5, good. We like that. That's going to win another 280. And the 9. Okay, so that's 4 wins. We got 4 wins. Let's see where that ended us up at. It's pretty close. I know 280 times 4 is more than 1,000. So this is what I'm saying. The same 4 hits, the same 4 hits you were looking for as far as the game is concerned. The game doesn't care how much money you have out there, guys. So the same 4 hits or 3 hits or whatever, but look how much more it made you. And you'd be willing to leave with $1,000 profit as opposed to $100 profit. And in this case, you could pull all that down and play whatever, 280 across, just play one of your wins back, however you set it up, play the don't, whatever it is you're going to do. And guys, the strategy I used here, the across betting or the light side betting style, that has really nothing to do with what I'm talking about. It's just the mechanism in which we're making money. Now, you could use anything. If you're just using flat bet don't, what you need to do at that point is it needs to be like on a ladder system. How many of them do you need to hit in a row? Are you looking for 3 don'ts in a row? Are you looking for a don't and then you're cutting it in half? Because that's something I see people do too. They play a $300 don't and then they win and they play a $150 don't. Now they have $250 don'ts to play. And so that's a way they get to stay at the table longer and play longer. There's just a lot. It's just about satisfying both urges. First urge is to stay at the table because that's what most people go to the craps game to play. I know they say they want to go make money, but the reality is they're going there to play the game and have fun first. No matter what they tell you, that's always the first thing because you see it as they're playing. Because they'll start like getting away from the money making aspect of the game. They'll start making horn bets and throwing out $10 yo, $10 yo, 25, 25, 25 on the ATS, and they'll start getting into the game, which is great. It's just a great thing because craps is a very fun game to play, but they get away from the money aspect of it. And then at the end of the day, they're like, oh, well, I had a chance. I could have left up. I could have, I had that 30 roller, didn't really make any money on it, that you hear all those excuses at the end of the day. But the fact of the matter is they accomplished what they wanted to. They wanted to stay at the table and have fun, no matter what they say. And then the second thing is the players that are actually playing to make profit, they also don't want to go and just go make their profit and leave. That's just not what players like to do. There's a handful that live right by casinos that's a thing they can manage, but most people that play generally have to kind of drive to the casino. They have to go a little ways to the casino. So for that aspect, you have to kind of accommodate both things because you're going to have both urges and you have both wants. You got to be able to try to satisfy both of them. Now, it's not always going to work, guys. It's gambling. Sometimes you're going to lose, and sometimes it's going to lose quick. Other times, you might be there all day and have a great time and break even. And so these are all things that you just aspects of the game that very few people talk about, and very few people ever really acknowledge and accept that what they're going there for is to play first and win second. Now, some people are the opposite, but most people, if they really ask themselves the real question, are they going there to play or are they going there to win? They're probably going there to play. And another thing, and this is another way this proves this to me, is I see guys, and I've been with them, been driving to the casino with them, and they'll be like, yeah, I'm just going to hammer the don'ts until I get up, and then, I'm going to play some across bets. What are the first thing they do there? 320 across. Oh, it lost. Okay, 160 across. It lost. Okay, 110 inside. It lost. All right, last play, 96 across. Doesn't win. And they're like, oh man, just the dice went bad today. No, they didn't. You didn't stick to your plan at all. You didn't even try to execute your plan. If you would have done your plan, you'd have been way up, kind of things like. But that I see that a lot, and so that's all part of the same aspect. The same thing with craps is that craps is exciting. It's fun to play, and it's a lot of enjoyment when the table is a lot of fun, right? It doesn't always have to be winning to be fun. I see lots of tables that are fun that are not winning necessarily. So at the end of the day, you really got to satisfy both urges because you got to satisfy that urge to just want to be there and have fun, and then the urge to want to win. And that's what you got to figure out where you're at in that. Anyways, guys, thank you for your time. This is Jacob from Wagering Me This.